Casey, you there? Casey, good news.
Good news? Hell, tourist. I would classify that as fucking outstanding news. Now look, I don't want to jinx it, but... No, you know what? I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Best not to risk the jinx. Let's just forge ahead. One step at a time. Okay, so, the part to repair the final pump. Gosh, I don't have much to go on. It's weird. There's been really faint chatter about it on a few channels. It's been nothing but static for months. There's an outpost called Bastion, set up in a heavily defended duplex home. Barricades and optimal sightlines. The Reclaimed currently control it. Now, the place has been a hotbed of conflict between Tower and Reclaimed for a while. From what I'm hearing, that's where it is, so be ready for a shitstorm. Good luck, and hey, keep your head on a swivel.
Hey, Casey. How's it going?
Oh, hey, tourist. Honestly, I'm a little freaked out.
What's bothering you?
It's just... I'm so close to getting out of here. And the closer I get, the harder it is for me to imagine what it's going to be like out there, you know? I mean, I know it's not the same world it was before I was locked in, and I can accept that, you know? But it seems like in order to make it out there, I'm going to have to become something I'm not. Violent, ruthless, willing to hurt anyone for even looking at me sideways.
It's simple, Casey. Adapt to the violence, embrace it, or die.
Is that what you did? Huh? Or were you always the way you are? And yes, this is me freaking out a bit. But there's a big part of me that's scared to meet you face to face. I mean, look, I don't really know you, but I know what you're capable of. And frankly, it turns my stomach when I really think about it.
You'll see. I'm not scared, Casey. You just don't want to fuck with me. That's all.
Thanks for the advice. You know, I gotta hand it to you, tourist. A conversation with you is always enlightening. Even entertaining sometimes. But, well, that's about all I can handle right now. I'm gonna take a few minutes to myself. I'll talk to you later.
You made it. I didn't doubt that you would, of course, but my patience was beginning to be tested. Let's start with a formal introduction. You are the tourist, and I am Jean-Baptiste. JB for short. There now, we can proceed to matters of more profound consequence. It is my understanding that this gizmo here would be of use to you. It's all yours. Consider it a gift. And when we are finished with our conversation, I will provide you with the missing dial that you'll need to operate it. Sound fair?
Sounds fair.
Terrific. Now, I prefer to play it straight. Once I received word that you were collecting these devices, and to what purpose, I saw an opportunity to connect with the city's most illustrious survivor and have a chat about the reserve. So I made it a priority to acquire one, through various means I will not divulge. And now here you are. It is my hope when I am through, you will see the reserve for what it is. Nothing more than a crutch, holding back the people of this fine city from regaining themselves.
You've piqued my interest. Go on.
I am a firm believer in the greatness of humankind, our ingenuity, our art, our towering scientific achievements. This reserve nonsense, even if the rumors about what may be inside it exceed our wildest dreams, the bounty will only prolong our addiction to survivalism as the only path in life. It will stifle our creativity. It will eventually lead to our withering doom. Now, this is the proposal that I have for you. Continue your search for the reserve, and when you unearth it, which I have the utmost confidence you will, destroy it. These 4 numbers will disable the entire flood contingency system. Mother Nature will rage through the reserve and take care of the rest. 1006. Flood the reserve and set us all free. Give this still glorious city the jump start it needs to refocus on something much grander than mere survival. Grant us hope, tourist, and thank you most sincerely for hearing me out. And let's keep this chat between us, if that's all right. I'm not sure my comrades would see the big picture benefits of removing the reserve from the equation. The floor's now yours, my friend. Anything on your mind that requires clarity?
I want your perspective on the reserve.
Uh-huh.
Why choose me to destroy the reserve?
Because you're the one best equipped to find the accursed place, and I trust you will do the right thing when you do. Call it a hunch.
If the rumors about what's inside the reserve are true, wouldn't it benefit the Reclaim to get your hands on it?
You are absolutely correct. But once those supplies are gone, then what? The same old fruitless pursuits. And there is the very distinct possibility that the tower gets to it before we do. The only way to guarantee this city will move forward in the proper direction is to remove the reserve from the equation entirely.
How did you find this code to flood the reserve?
One of my scouts came across the corpse of a National Guardsman in Rampart High School. The body had a manual for a bunker's flood defense system. I put 2 and 2 together.
I have some other questions for you, JB. I'm curious about the Reclaimed.
Yes?
The Reclaimed have made quite a mark on the city. How did the movement get started?
After my exile from the tower for insubordination, I took to raiding their supply lines. Rather efficiently, I might add. No one ever got hurt, and other exiles clamored to join my operations. Needless to say, Mama and her cohorts were not pleased with my exploits, and they sent several communications asking me to cease my pillaging or there'd be consequences. Of course, I refused, politely. No one was going to dictate the terms of my existence anymore. But it wasn't until the tower started sending thugs out to track me down and end me that I decided it was time to send a message of my own.
What's with the gory rituals?
First one was a man I knew well in my brief tenure as a tower grunt. I'd even called him a friend. Tripp was his name. Snuck up on me in the middle of sleep. Tried to slit my throat. Still carry the scar. Well, long story short, Tripp was no match for me. I maimed him. Something awful, really. And I dragged his body about a mile all the way to the southern bump, which at the time was the most highly trafficked exit from the tower. I found an old oak, hung him upside down from it so his lifeblood would spill rapidly into the soil. and upon his chest I pinned a note that read, "Keep 'em coming." And just like that, I became the most feared boogeyman Nola has seen since the Axeman. Once I had fear on my side, the rest just blossomed naturally. Those with nowhere else to go wanted what I had, so they listened. And they learned. I empowered them. That's all people want. A sense that their lives still have some meaning.
I have some other questions for you, JB. I've heard enough.
Fair enough. Then we are finished here. The dial, as promised. Godspeed, tourist.
Finally meet, tourist. After all the hype, you're not exactly what I expected. Thought you'd be more put together, bit more danger to your presence.
You know who I am, but I'm not sure I know who you are. I have a guess, but...
I'm Georgia. Maybe you heard of me, maybe not. I could give two shits. What does concern me is the man inside the building you just stepped out of. The time has come to silence him once and for all. Cut off the head that won't shut up. Rest of the reclaimed fools will fall back in line. Then us tower folk can get back to doing what's right, without all the noise.
He's all yours. I won't stop you.
This is where you come in, Big Shot. I'm gonna offer you an opportunity to be a hero. You game?
That depends. What the fuck do you want me to do?
Quit fucking with me, fool. You know what I want. March back up into that house and kill JB. Prove you are worth more to the tower than the cockroach you've been so far. And in return, all your fucked up transgressions will be forgiven. If you happen to find yourself in the midst of our onslaught on the reserve, tower troops will have your back. You have my word.
I take no issue with killing JB. Consider it done.
No nonsense. I dig it, tourist. I'll let you get to the deed. We'll be waiting, right here. But don't keep us waiting too long. My patience has a limit.
Out for a stroll? Don't hang around too long.
You've returned. To what do I owe the pleasure, tourist?
Tower troops are outside. They want you dead. I suggest you get out of here.
Well, look at you, tourist. Choosing sides. I suppose that's a good sign regarding our previous conversation. For a rogue spirit, you certainly have proven pivotal in the fight for the soul of this godforsaken and still glorious city. I have no designs on escape. I plan to march right out of this house, gun drawn, and send a message. If you feel like joining me, I suggest you keep up. When it comes to violence, I am decisive and swift.
Out for a stroll? Strong enough word for you, tourist. Who's got my back? Let's take this.
Come on! Bring it!
Rat must have...
You don't actually think I can intimidate. We collaborate well, tourist. Together we might have been able to handle twice as many tower goons. I had forgotten how much I enjoy the thrill of a brawl. Been a while. Thanks for reminding me. And now I must bid you farewell. I have a new broadcast to prepare, hearts and minds to ignite. Perhaps you may even get a special mention. But please, do me one last favor. Keep our earlier discussion in mind when the moment arrives for you to decide the fate of the reserve. 1006. The 4 numbers that will set this city free.
My dear Georgia, we have gone too far. This has to stop. We are not cruel. No matter what our community is facing right now, we have to remember our promise to the people. I understand the need to pivot when faced with a crisis, Georgia. Those responsible for the atrocities that led to the disease were brought to justice. We have to put the lessons we learned from all that tick business behind us. When I first learned that those animals were serving human flesh to our most desperate, simply to meet hunting quotas, I was enraged. But as difficult as it may be, I had to pivot. I had to try and understand the desperation that drove them to hunt human beings. Maybe our scavenging quotas were a misstep. Yes, punishment was warranted, but we cannot allow those horrors to color all the choices we make moving forward. We must help people, not abandon them. I have been changing course and making difficult decisions a majority of my life. We can figure this out. We can get this community back on the right track. I may be a bit compromised these days, but my mind is as sharp as ever. You need to be patient, and you need to trust me. You know, I have always thought of you as the daughter I never had. Have I ever steered you wrong? We will return to better days. Your mama.